Okay, on the road here in Birmingham with the Blade, Brad Foster. First of all, Brad, how are you?
Good, mate. All good.
All good. Now, the first place, obviously, with you, is to look back, is to the night where you made that British title belt your own. Has it quite sunk in yet?
It has sunk in, to be fair. That's why I came into boxing, was to win that British title outright. So it's kind of, now that I've won it outright, it's like, what do I do next? Yeah, it was a massive night for me. Massive night for my dad as well, because it was one of his goals as well. He wanted me to win that British title outright, and I managed to do so.
Now, I suppose people want to know, what have you done with it?
It's in the box at home somewhere, to be honest. I haven't really done much with it. It sounds bad, but yeah, it's in my dad's room, under some cabinet with the lights.
So you don't need to draw a map.
It's stuck in the dog's bollocks, mate.
So yeah, you haven't been sleeping with it, putting it on the sideboard,
no,
anything like that?
To be honest, as I said, it's more for my dad. Like, he's got it in his cabinet and all that. He looks at it every night. When he's watching telly, it's on the bottom row. So yeah.
It's nice, but it's yours to keep though. That must be a nice feeling.
Oh yeah. As I mean, it probably won't sink in for a while, to be honest, because it is such a beautiful belt, and when I'm older, I've got something to show from me boxing. I've got that British title, because that's what I wanted. I wanted to take something away from my boxing career, and the British title's a great thing to achieve.
Must be gutting for the people who have to give it back, not sometimes through losing it, but maybe just not getting the fights in. It must be horrible to part with.
Well, that's why I had to win it outright, because it's such a beautiful belt. You don't want to give a belt like that back, do you? You want to keep it forever and show people and show it off.
When I asked you whether it had sunk in, it's probably more to do with the fact of what you've actually accomplished, whether it's sunk in now. I think I'm right in saying, but the youngest person to do it outright was Ryan Rhodes.
Yeah.
But he was lucky, he got all his done in 90 days. But back then it was you only had to defend it twice.
Yeah.
So he got it all done and dusted in 90 days. You've actually been involved in 5 British title fights.
Yeah.
You know, inside the age of 22. And I dare say you must be the youngest since Ryan Rhodes. I mean, does it actually then sink in is what you have actually accomplished within such a short space of time, bearing in mind your limited background? I mean, Ryan Rhodes was a bloody good amateur and everything else. He's very well seasoned. You've just sort of come into the sport, turn pro, bang.
Well, that's what I mean, mate. It's a great achievement if you look at it like that. I don't really look at the facts too much of who was the youngest and all that, but like you just said there, it's a great achievement for me to accomplish, and I'm very proud of that achievement. But I still think there's a lot more to come out of me, to be honest.
I'm sure there is, but when you jumped into the sport, how long ago was it now? Probably 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
If that, could you have really thought that you'd have been, in 5 title fights? 6,
well,
7 if you include the area title fights.
Well, yeah, it's all happened so fast, and coming into the sport, that is what I wanted to do, win the British title outright, and everyone thinks they can do it, but when it actually happens, it happens so fast, and I just don't want to stay in one place and look how far I've come. I want to keep on going, and maybe when I finish my boxing career, I can think, I've done so well. But my head at the minute's just thinking, what's next? I know I've got so much more to give.
Loads of kickboxers, loads of MMA fighters, they all have a go, but hardly any actually get any tangible rewards from it. How did you do it? Just, what was a secret to you sort of coming in? You didn't have it all your own way, but you made it happen for yourself. And like I say, even your training team, which is your father, was of the same level of experience as you.
Yeah.
So that doesn't make it any easier.
Well, yeah. I remember when I first turned over, someone came to watch one of the fights, and they said to my manager, I won't bother with him. And that always sticks with me. However, people are always going to doubt you, but as long as you believe in yourself and you work hard, that's how I've got what I've got. With the British Commonwealth, the Midlands title, winning that fight, everyone's doubted me, but I'll just stick in the gym. Always believe in myself, because if you don't believe in yourself, you're never going to be able to do what you you want to do. So always believe in myself. I've got a good team around me, and that's how I've got to where I am now.
So
what that
person said has lodged in your head, and what that person said has lodged in your head, and you've obviously used it for inspiration. Do you remember who it was and things like that?
I remember it was, but
it's just
stuck.
Look
at me now, and I've won a British title outright, and not many people do that. So it's a good story, isn't it?
But you know, like I said, you haven't had it all your own way, and you've had one or two downs, particularly early, and I wonder how much of it was down to the fact that you were never really a flyweight, you know, and it's a very hard division to really make an impact in if you're not a natural flyweight, and maybe we were trying to force it at the time.
What, in my earlier? Yeah, I remember I'd lose stupid amounts of weight. I'd be losing like 10 kilos and stuff like that. So now, you know, I had to move up because I was still a growing boy. I mean, I was an 18-year-old and I was trying to lose like 10 kg, and then
it's making a hard job a lot harder, aren't you?
Hard job, and then my training would be about losing weight, so I wouldn't be enjoying it. And then after the fight, I'd just blow up again. So then you like reevaluate, then you find your right weight, and then I found my right weight, and I started to perform at it.
I mean, I'm not being rude to anyone, but flyweights, I think, are for naturally skinny lads, isn't it? That's what it's there for. You're not a skinny lad. No. You know, you're quite strong.
Well,
you're fairly chunky, certainly around the lower half, aren't you? So you were never. That was never really going to be a working proposition.
It was never going to work because I'm never going to be at my best if I'm losing 10 kilos, 12 kilos every single fight. Am I? So that's where it comes in. I found the right weight through trial and error, and then
strength to strength after that.
I've become successful at it.
How much of a setback was the Brett Fido draw? Was that kind of weight related at the time?
Yeah, of course, because I had to lose loads of weight, but I look at that fight as a learning curve.
You got very down after that, didn't you?
Well, to be honest, going into that fight, I was just boxing because he was making everyone else happy. Look, my dad always wanted me to box, and I was thinking, like, I'm not earning no money out of this. Like, it's like stupid. I'm fighting for trying to earn a living, but I'm not earning no money. So then I was thinking, I can't be asked to do this anymore. And then after that fight, I think I turned myself back around, and then I think I got a Midlands title shot. And after that, I was like, this is a fight that I want, and I want to win to prove some people wrong. And then obviously I won that one. And then the same thing happened again, really. Just nothing was coming up for a while, and I like to be challenged in life. I like to be maybe the underdog a little bit, so I can prove to myself. So that fight came about, and then won the Midlands title, and then I just went off again. Weren't doing nothing. Was thinking, what's the point of me boxing? Nothing's coming up. I'm not getting anywhere in life. And then I got the British title shot opportunity. Took that with both hands. Went to Barnsley, won that one, and then since then, you know, my life has changed.
So are you kind of saying in a roundabout sort of way, but at the beginning of your boxing journey, you were kind of living out your dad's fantasies rather than yours?
I wasn't saying I was living out my dad's fantasies. I always wanted to. My dad would want me to. He'd push me because he wants the best for me, and he knew I had a talent. Whereas I'm just thinking, I'm not really getting anything out of this boxing game. What's the point of me doing it? Whereas he knew that I had a talent, and he knew what I could achieve, and he knew I could achieve a British title. So
it's hard to see how he could have known that, isn't it?
Well, yeah, because he's seen me in the gym. He's seen me, you know, sparring big lads, sparring good lads, and he sees how I get on with them. And to see me thinking of packing boxing in because I'm not benefiting from it. It's hard for him to see. So I wouldn't say it was my dad's fantasies. It's because he wants the best for me, and he never wanted me to jack boxing in, and it's paid off now.
Was it hard for you, because obviously you were a serial winner in the kickboxing, in the world of kickboxing, you know, world title after world title at different age groups, and then you get into boxing, which is very much a long haul, you know, and there's no guarantees of ever getting to that sensation of winning something. Was that hard in some respects?
Kickboxing's a completely different ball game. I was younger when I was doing kickboxing, and boxing's more, it's real life, more real life. You know, kickboxing, it don't matter. You know, it's more of like,
You were still winning world titles.
it's not a career, is it? Yeah, I'm still winning world titles, but it's not a career in kickboxing. Whereas boxing, it's a career. It's real life. It's real. You know what I mean? If you're not on the top of your game, you're gonna get hurt.
Right, picking up. British champion outright. People wonder what's next for Brad. Now, you went down to see Franca 5 or 6 weeks ago. What was kind of outlined to you during that visit?
He was saying I don't get the credit as what I should do, really, because I've gone under the radar with what I've achieved, with, you know, winning the British title outright and all that sort of stuff. So that's what he was saying. He was saying he's going to move me forward. A few international fights and get me in the world rankings. And yeah.
Do you feel that you've sort of been under-recognised, if you like?
Yeah, I would say in some senses, but none of that, it don't really matter to me, because I'm just achieving my goals. Like winning the British outright, that'll never be taken away from me. You know, that's my belt forever. So.
And I guess by the same token, you're not kind of like a media-hungry young man, are you? You don't sort of
really
put yourself out there in terms of, I don't know, turning up at the opening of an envelope and things like that, but some fighters would.
Yes, well, I just want to achieve my goals in the sport, and winning the British was one of the goals that I set coming into the sport. So, you know, I've done that, and I'm looking forward to what Frank has in store for me, and moving me forward on the hunt for a world title now.
It was quite fitting, just flipping back again, the fact that you ended the Queensberry run, if you like, at York Hall with your title win that night, and then you restarted it at top of the bill on July the 10th against James Beach. It was quite a nice little symmetry to that, wasn't there?
It was. As I said, at that point I was blessed to be in that opportunity, because I was the Lucian Reed 2 rematch was on February the 22nd, and I got the job done there, and that was on ITV, so that was a vast audience. And then for me to be the first show back after there'd been no boxing for such a long time, blessed to be in that instance as well. So yeah, I'm lucky, blessed.
How did you assess your performance in the local derby against James Beach?
I think it was a cruising victory. I was a bit disappointed after the fight, because I just didn't think I got out of second gear, which is, you know, credit to myself a bit, because I just cruised through the fight. But I would have liked to show him a bit more. I'd have liked to have got him out there, but, you know, hats off to Beach, he stuck in there with me.
I'd be interested to know where you feel you need to make improvements, because there was one or two suggestions, particularly in that fight maybe, but suggested, but sometimes you fight in phases. You know, you maybe have a busy start and then sort of level off a little bit, and then you've got the ability to pick it back up again. I mean, you certainly can do the rounds, but
yeah.
Is it something, the intensity levels, do you deliberately sort of start high, then manage them throughout the middle rounds and then finish strongly, or is it something you'd like to maintain throughout the whole fight?
I don't know, I think every fight's different. To be honest, I don't think I was really up for the James Beach fight compared to Lucian Reed 2, because I really had a bit in me to do the job on him, like. So yeah, looking back, I think I cruised the beach fight, to be honest. I think he had about 3 rounds out of it.
Yeah.
So obviously when the opponent gets better, I'll obviously step my game up.
Are you kind of in a tricky sort of stick or twist moment at the moment, given your age and what you've accomplished so quickly? You know, I suppose if you were 26, 27, people would be saying, right, full steam ahead, working towards a world title.
Yeah.
Because you're so young and you've achieved what you have, maybe yourself and your team and maybe other people might look at it and say, well, he needs a bit more time, some sort of bridging fights. How do you feel with yourself?
I don't fear anyone, and maybe that's stupid for me to do that, but I just literally don't fear anyone. I'll fight anyone, it doesn't bother me. But it's about doing everything at the right time, so when I get to that stage, I'll stay there for a long time. So I'd like a few international fights, get myself in the world rankings, and then we can see where we go from there.
So I mean, international belts, you know, they get criticised, but they do serve that purpose, don't they?
Well, yeah, it's like you can get good opponents, hungry opponents who want to come and win, who have a high world ranking, and then when you beat them, you'll take their spot, won't you? So you're already in the top rankings, going towards the end goal, which is the world title.
International fights, you know, totally go along with what you say there, but there's obviously some tasty domestic fights that remain out there. Are they still of interest to you? Because obviously, from the public's point of view, domestic fights are, you know, probably a preference.
Well, yeah, they are with all this COVID. As I said, I don't really fear anyone, to be honest, mate. I've never ducked anyone in my career coming through boxing. Look at the people I've fought; they've all been winners, and I don't think these prospects have really fought any winners, to be honest. So yeah, as I said, of course, I've got that British strap, so it's something that everyone wants. As I said, I don't really back down to anyone.
I was interested. I was looking at the EBU rankings yesterday, and you got the Italian champion. Can't remember his name off the top of my head, but I noticed his mandatory is Gamal Yafai, and you are the number one in the rankings. Now, yeah. Now, Gamal Yafai is obviously a local to you. I understand you're sparring him fairly soon, but as a fight for the Midlands goes, I mean, that would certainly be a popular idea, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah. I won't discredit Gamal. I've learned a lot of him. I used to go sparring when I was a flyweight just coming into boxing. I used to go spar him and his brother. So I won't ever badmouth Gamal or Cal, because they've helped me a lot. But you never know what the future holds. And we're both from Birmingham. We're both Birmingham lads, so you never know in the future that could be a massive fight.
What was I going to say? I mean, he hasn't fought for a while, but is a sparring between you sort of been a regular thing over the years?
Yeah, of course, we help each other out. When I first started boxing, I learned a lot of him and his brother. Very good fighters, they both are. So, you know, it's always good to help each other out. We're both local, so, you know, why not?
A fight between you, of course, would fit very neatly into this Queensbury Promotions matchroom boxing dynamic that's currently being talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you wouldn't turn down a place in that little jigsaw.
Who knows, mate, what the future holds, you know. We both on our journeys, and if we meet, we meet.
How's life changed for you now? Are you still doing your supermarket thing?
Yeah, I've got a bit of time off now because I'm training for a fight. Life ain't changed a lot. I'm still doing the same thing, mate, to be honest. Doing my PTs, training people, helping other people achieve their goals, and yeah, just concentrating on me boxing myself.
I wonder if people realise in Tesco's Lichfield, but you know, their tea bags and cans of baked beans have all been sort of set out during the night by the British and Commonwealth champion.
I know, yeah. They must save them in a special cupboard, famous tea bags and all that, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just one arm, innit?
I mean, you obviously had the key worker status during the lockdown, but I mean, is this something you see, you know, as a long-term thing, or is it a goal of yours to become a sort of fully funded professional?
I don't really mind working, to be honest, mate. I think I'm not big-headed. I don't really think a lot of myself. I just crack on with my job. If I have to work, I work. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong with me doing a few shifts a week. It's not going to harm me, is it?
Now, one thing you do often reference after fights is a Coca-Cola and a boogie.
Yep.
You're supposed to be a bit tasty on the old dance floor, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm a young man, you know. I like going out for a little dance with my mates, you know, just to kill the time. Saturdays, Coca-Cola, little boogie, go to raves and that. Probably a lot of 22-year-olds, they'll do that. A lot of 28-year-olds, you know. I'm still young. you got to enjoy life at the end of the day, because life isn't just about training. So you got to enjoy life.
But dancing is one of these things normally where you're either good at it or you're not. And if you're not, you're obviously quite self-conscious about it, and it's like, you know, an awful period of suffering while you're out on the dance floor. Or you're good at it, which you must be. Where did you? Is it something you picked up naturally?
I'd like to think I've got a bit of a good rhythm. You should see me dance, mate. He's a good dancer. I'll show you after.
Well, what we are going to see afterwards, when we film a little bit of you in the pads in the ring, we're going to get you to sort of throw a few moves.
You need to get my dad on that. He loves the old body popping and all that game.
What's your sort of, you know, your scene, your type of music?
Everything really. I can get down to everything, anything, mate. You know, whatever the mood is, I'm there, giving it a little two-step. Obviously, it changes, doesn't it?
You know all the 80s stuff and all that as well? Sort of?
Yeah. As I said, I can get down to anything, mate. You know, whatever it may be.
But if it was like your favourite night out and you're allowed to choose a sort of the type of music, what would it be?
Well, I like a rave, so dance music, house music, techno, all that sort of stuff. That'd be the ideal night. Just good vibes, good people, mate.
And those sort of things, you've got to be able to go for hours, haven't you?
Well, yeah. I'm a fit human being, so it don't bother me.
Brad, it's great to catch up, mate. Thank you very much, and we'll see you very soon.
Sound.